This video is made for adult collectors because literally as I was naming this file, I paint chipped one of the keys on my keyboard. Pain. So Gamer Edition has had a strange release. Even though I like most of what it has to offer, I will admit it hasn't been everyone's cup of tea. Prime was fantastic, making my figure of the year. Barricade, yeah. Bumblebee was odd, but fun. Megatron was great, apart from his weird knee tabs and his small fusion cannon. And Cliffjumper is just red Bumblebee, but with slightly better tolerances. So, how's the latest entry in the subline within a subline? This is Starscream from War for Cybertron, and while it has its fair share of oddities, it's like almost as good as Prime. Now on the topic of what's better, because I know this is going to be brought up in the comments, the Deluxe or the Voyager, well, both have, I'd say, a fair share of inaccuracies, flaws, and general weird issues. The original is small. The arms on all of my copies of the mold that I've owned like to pop off at the bicep. The robot was very flat. It was a mostly concept art design, and if you wanted the forearm shape to be accurate, he had to have gorilla arms. Not to mention the articulation was a tad limited just due to the time it came out. The new one has better posing, more closely resembles the game design, save for a couple of areas. It's bigger, but it has the large cockpit and the not so well-shaped lower legs, and well, yeah, both I'd say are inaccurate to a point. I do see loads of people thinking Starscream was skinnier than the Voyager here, but that's because the original Deluxe was. Sure, he wasn't this thick in the game, but he also wasn't old Deluxe skinny either, at least until Fall of Cybertron, where he appeared to have been slimmed down a bit more, which is funny because the original toy is based off of Fall of Cybertron, not War for Cybertron. So, the toy. It was something people complained to hell and back on when it got revealed. Yeah, when are Transformers fans just gonna learn that you shouldn't trust stock images for Hasbro poses? Like, it's been going on for how long now? 40 years, almost? This thing in hand is so much better than those photos, and Hasbro, please make the photos better. But that cockpit, let's discuss that. It's soft and large. Why? Well, one of the amazing things about modern Transformers is that you can ask the designers these questions on Instagram when they post about them. And Evan, the guy who designed this, did state that this decision was made because they had to be wide enough to fit the head and the nose cone in both modes. And yeah, the head is proportional this time, so it had to be wide enough to fit that, sure. But all the detail on it is lost. Why? Well, seeing as I'm writing this during the holidays, I ain't gonna message the designer over the holidays asking stupid questions, so let's pull it apart and see. Not literally. This is clear, and it's on a hinge to transform. If it was solid clear, the hinges would have been super thin and thus would crack. People consistently complain about clear plastic breakages all the time, and we know Hasbro listens, sometimes, to these complaints. See Studio Series 86 Cliff and Cup. So here, they most likely chose a soft, clear plastic so that it didn't break constantly, and as such, it's flexible. Now, the details just needed to be painted for the cockpit to not look so wide, but here they aren't. It is painted at the top, but that's due to the top part being a lot thicker and therefore not flexible, but the sides do flex very, very much if you twist it intentionally. And if that was painted, it would more than likely flake right off once bent. Could there have been a more elegant solution to this problem? Yeah, probably. But is the outcome horrible? No, not really. And everything else about the toy just rocks. The arms aren't as thin as the pics make it seem. The legs, while all one tree trunk shape, are very nice. There is some paint it's missing from the game model, but they're all kind of like that. Yes, the Planet X one may look better, but like it can't do the swept back wings thing properly. It doesn't hold up to the test of time. The plastic feels bad. It costs 3 to 4 times the price. I can't find mine, unfortunately, to do this comparison, which is pain. This one has a really clean back, getting all the wings situated correctly, including the blue tail fins. He does come with his mace, which is 2 parts, the top section being a slightly softer material so you don't bludgeon your siblings' eyes out. Please don't do that. And his sniper can be plugged into his arm, or into the hand, finally. The handle is small, but that's so that it doesn't break up the silhouette when plugged into the arm, which, by the way, fits into a channel into the 5mm port so that the forearm doesn't feel like it's loose or gonna fall out. I like that a lot. And one of the very cool things about this is how well it can pose. He is a bit of a chunky bro, but he can still pull off some wicked articulation. So as you saw, his articulation is actually quite good, especially for like, I hate saying this, but being a gamer edition toy, because what is it? Prime and Megatron have really been the only ones that are very, very good at posing, and it's nice that we now have a third, and this feels like a vast improvement. So the head is on a ball joint. He can look up very far, which is very, very nice. I just unpegged the backpack. These can rotate, so you can have them forward if you want, or you can have them out. By the way, these come packed separately in the box, so please don't lose them. The shoulders can do a full 360. They can go in and out. It does a bicep rotation, double jointed elbows, wrist rotation as well. You have a waist joint as well, which is very nice. However, just due to the way the cockpit, like that's just the nature of the design, it does stop right about there. So it's a tiny bit unfortunate. Legs can go forward all the way. They can go back all the way. They can go out all the way. The legs are basically not hindered at all, which is very nice. You do have a thigh rotation. You have a little bit over 90 degrees of bend at the knee. Now the knees have these little tabs here, and they click into place. That's literally just, these tabs are for alt mode, and they just happen to be there, so they click into place there. It's just an unfortunate placement for those tabs. Then you have an ankle tilt, which is designed to go to about there and then stop because of the way that they've sculpted it. But you can go further if you want, and he can get really, really low. So you can get him in some very, very like low down, high leg up, ankle pivot poses, which is very cool because he does that a lot in the video game. For how surprisingly little he's actually in the game, he does all the poses he does in the game, which is awesome. Yeah, I very much like the robot. Now airplane time. Now let's make it a jet, and this is an extremely interesting transformation because I don't think I've ever seen a Starscream do like 90% of the things it's about to do here, and it shares nothing with the original. So to start with, we're going to rotate these in, straighten out the arms just for now, fold out the backpack, and just bring it out like so. You know what, we'll get the backpack prep first. So you wanna make sure it's in focus. Then you wanna unfold these segments right here, like that. There we go. Rotate the wings back, or the tail fins, I should say, back. Then rotate the actual wings forward. Open up this back section, fold this out, close that up, and just leave that there. That's basically the back of the jet all done. Now we're going to unpeg the cockpit section, bring the head up like that, rotate it 180 degrees, open up the cockpit, fold out the nose cone, flip the head in, close it up. That'll all snap into place. There's the cockpit. Then you take the arms, you bring them forward like that, or no, like this, sorry. Rotate them in. They're on double hinges. Then you double hinge the elbows down like so. Rotate them inward, and they'll peg in to the underside of the torso and to each other to sort of fill that in. Then you take the legs, bend the knee, open this section up, bring this out, straighten the knee, fold this in, and it'll clip into place. Then you peg that in, fold in the toes. Let's do the same on the other side. And that little clip you hear is those knee tabs getting into their spots. It's just the unfortunate placement of them means that the knees click into place. Then you take this, bring it down, tab it all together like so. And there you have the jet all done. And that's a very, very interesting transformation to lead to a pretty streamlined jet mode, other than maybe the arms hanging out at the front there. Doing this right now, one thing I forget to do for this entire video, which is pain, is fold out these little back flaps here, these little tail fins. So he does have tail fins on the back of his legs, or side of his legs, sorry, for the back of the jet. I just forgot because honestly, I'm always forgetting to fold these out for some reason, and I don't know why. This is accurate. The wings are actually that small per the CAD files they used to make the toy, so like, I'm okay with it. And I like this a lot. I've always been a fan of this jet design, and here it looks the part. But then every toy of this version of the character has kind of just nailed the jet in one way or another. Lightly empty feeling underneath, but it's largely under kibble free, which is a plus. It's also long too, like quite long in comparison to other Voyagers, even if the robot is a tad smaller next to a modern Voyager. The weapon storage is a bit poo, but that's Transformers. I like this. I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun to transform, pose, handle, hold. It's better than most of the other Gamer Edition toys we got, and it's in a banger wave too, which is fire. I'm so stoked to get the rest of this wave, minus the Junkion, because I'm out of Junkion space. But yeah, I definitely recommend this. It's the first Gamer Edition toy I can fully recommend to you, like paying full price, since Prime. It's fun, solid, feels great, and once Toy Hacks gets their hands on that cockpit, I'm sure it will look even more fantastic. Is it perfect? No. But it is a blast to mess with. But that's been my look at Transformers Gamer Edition Starscream. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.